Hi, this is Magda from Interior Exterior. In this episode, we'll talk about wasps, because they can also wander into our interiors, although mostly from the outside. They visited me recently. We have light-colored blinds on the living room window that let light in. And since on this side we have a view of the neighboring building, we often keep them down, sometimes completely, sometimes partially, just to shield ourselves a bit from the neighbor's eyes. And one time we raised the blinds, and there was a nest inside the window frame, in the corner, with a few wasps building it. At first we were fascinated, because it's not every day you get a chance to see how wasps build a nest. And from so close too, because through the glass we could actually be just a few centimeters away from them, and nothing could harm us. And wasps build their nests out of wood, and not like birds that bring different materials to build with, but they actually chew the wood. Some kind of rotten wood, for example. I won't tell you all the details, and then these wonders are created. Come on, admit it, it's really fascinating. And I thought we would admire these views all season, and in winter the wasps move out. So really, what's the point of doing anything about them? But then I thought maybe not. The neighbors might not share our perspective, especially since there will be more and more of them over time. At first there are a few wasps, maybe a dozen or a few dozen, but over time there can be 500 or even 1,000 in such a nest. Well, it's hard to say how much such a nest can grow. I think that in such a small window space it wouldn't grow to gigantic proportions, but it's hard to predict, especially when you're not an expert. We had the balcony open almost all the time, and not a single wasp flew into our apartment, although some bees came by every day. However, whether it will always be like that, I don't know, so I started looking for information on the internet. And there, all I found were videos about removing nests. And honestly, it's really sad, because it's the 21st century, and we already know that the number of insects is decreasing. In Germany, they are strictly protected, but what about here? It was really unpleasant to watch, and I felt that this is not the path I want to follow myself. I would have preferred to leave them here, but I wanted them. I also wanted to find out what species they were, whether it would be one that would be more interested in me or less. Will this nest grow bigger, or will it stay rather small? What are the chances that this company won't be a nuisance this summer? And when I started to dig a little deeper, I managed to find channels run by enthusiasts who deal with wasps and talk about them. And among others, I came across Adrian's channel.
Hi, my name is Adrian. I'm interested in nature, especially insects.
Who helped me identify my wasps. Earlier, based on photos on the internet, I guessed that they might be Saxon wasps or median wasps, and it turned out they were median wasps, and that it's quite a rare species. And you can easily recognize them by the fact that they sometimes have thin yellow stripes on a black background, which is a bit unusual. And mine were just like that, so I was even more excited that such a special guest was next to my house. However, Adrian suggested something else, that maybe he could take them to his garden, where they wouldn't bother anyone and would be safe, that he has a special suit and could simply transport them. I'll show you how it looked in a moment, but for now I'll hand it over to Adrian so he can share a few more details with us, so you'll know how to behave if you encounter wasps near your house.
Insects have been my passion for as long as I can remember. They've always fascinated me. Even as a child, I would go out to the nearby meadows to learn about their interesting lives.
Are wasps really such little pests that just fly up to people and sting them?
No, but it depends on the species, and Poland has many. Each species has its own characteristic features that allow us to distinguish it from other species, and this in turn lets us learn about its unique habits. Because when it flies up to a person, it doesn't intend to sting us. It's either curious or we're near its nest. And that's kind of how it happens.
How can you recognize a wasp species?
These insects have several subfamilies, including paper wasps, which are common nationwide and build nests in open areas. The nest consists of a single comb with visible Magda's cells. Another subfamily has appeared. Specifically, this is the species called the median wasp. Median wasps build a nest shaped like a ball. They usually establish their nests on tree branches, but as in this case, we are dealing with a window recess. You can find information about specific species on my channel and on the website that we will link. In the description of this video,
We find a wasp nest. What should we do when there is cause for concern, and when is it enough just to be cautious?
timing matters when you find the nest. If it's autumn, it's usually best to wait, as the nest will be abandoned soon. If we find it in early spring at the start of construction, when removal seems easy, we must still be cautious, as the queen will defend it fiercely. It's safest to contact a beekeeper who has the proper suit and knowledge. If the nest is in an unused area, mark it to keep people out. It will die off in winter anyway.
Before Adrian started packing my wasps and preparing them for the trip, he changed into a special suit that protected him well from possible stings. Next, we tried to slightly open the window sash that was closer to the nest, and when we did, the nest moved and the wasps flew out angrily. To be honest, I was a bit scared of that moment, and I expected them to rush inside as a whole swarm and fly all over the apartment, but that didn't happen. They kept flying around their nest the whole time, clearly very worried about it. They were not happy that someone was disturbing them. Fortunately, we were prepared for this. I just stood a bit farther away, and Adrian patiently caught them in a jar.
They're especially strong in this species, like hornets, but even more aggressive. Hornets aren't exactly gentle. I'm a bit scared to catch them, so they don't sting me, because honestly, I don't like being stung. Who would? Exactly, at first you had a vacuum cleaner, but I didn't think it would be so big for the nest, so powerful.
You think you're vacuuming them up and catching them in some kind of sock?
A small machine like that. I have a box split in half with a metal grid, but I didn't expect so many here.
When the vast majority of the wasps had already been caught in various jars, then it was time for the nest. We expected that at the end the queen might still fly out, who is bigger than the other insects and can also be fierce, but for some reason she didn't decide to come out to us. She probably hid deep inside the nest, and since we didn't destroy it, she was safe there.
They lack our kind of intelligence, but they have instinct. And they are so fast. There are no faster beings, at least I don't know of any species faster than them than these, Mady. They have friends like that too, and we have a similar messenger group. They're interested as well. Everyone's looking for Mady. There are 5 people there, one from the United Kingdom, one from Italy, and one from the States. Here, these jars will be black.
They don't need water or food for the trip.
Avoid giving them anything inside, or they'll wander and end up in the sugar.
They're protected because their numbers are declining.
Well, there are very few of them. It's in the government. They stood there. But since 1996, I think, they've been protected.
Why are there fewer of them in Germany than in Poland?
Well, because more chemicals were used there, right? So that's why it happened. If there are fewer, I'll remove the nest and collect any that return. I probably won't catch them all since some return after a few hours.
And what happens to them then?
They'll leave the nest and only stay here for up to a week. If there were a lot of them, they would even start rebuilding the nest. Issa Parsi, how many do we have? With all the tricks, you won't get pushed out of the market. This one's empty, and they're still over there. That one's nearly empty, but has a queen and strong cluster. I can send pictures if you want. She's so big, something like a hornet, and looks like a hornet.
How will you know how big she is? She'll be in the nest, then the nest will be in the box, and then when you install it, she'll be coming out.
I'll be able to see from underneath when she walks on the comb. I don't know her condition, since the nest might be broken and repairs could take 2 days.
The nest was detached from the wall, placed in a container, and covered in such a way that the wasps hidden inside wouldn't fly out during transport and start attacking anyone. But their little behinds are shaking. But the kings can't see.
We have wooden benches inside.
But don't snap in the air.
Leaving won't take long, but I still feel a bit cold in my back, so I won't get too hot. Yeah, I just dropped by a house party like that.
I hope Adrian will send some videos showing how the nest looks and how my wasps are doing at his place. I strongly encourage you not to overuse chemicals in your gardens and to react calmly to various insects and animals, thinking about what to do and how big the risk really is. And only then move on to taking action. Don't assume that you have to get rid of everything in your surroundings, because that's not always necessary. I got a message on Instagram from someone who had wasps build a nest on their balcony. The wasps lived there all season, and in the fall the nest became empty, with just a few left. The apartment owner lightly sprayed the nest with water, letting them know that it was time to leave and just fly away. So as you can see, even close company like that sometimes really doesn't have to be a nuisance. That's why you should always think first and then act. Because I'm not saying you always have to give way to insects, that's not the point. Sometimes we have allergies, sometimes wasps build a nest in a place that's really busy, and that's people being around wasps and wasps being around people. It will just be a nuisance, but there's always time to think about it. And I strongly encourage you to do that. Let me know if you have any people or experiences of your own. I hope they're more positive than being stung, and I'm looking forward to your comments. And now, we're saying goodbye.
I invite you to my channel, where you'll find more interesting facts about these insects, and to the comments, where I've left information about the project I'm currently working on.
I also invite you to Adrian's channel. Don't forget to subscribe. I invite you to check out our other videos, where we show how Polish people live, visit different apartments and houses, and also present beautiful gardens. So if you're interested in these topics, be sure to follow us. See you, bye.